Hi, and welcome to Lee on the Lectionary. Today we're looking at the readings for the week known as Proper 22 in Year B, and those readings are Genesis 2 verses 18 to 24, Hebrews 1 1 to 4 and 2 5 to 12, and Mark 10 2 to 16. The theme of our readings this week is the image of God and the redemption of the family. The image of God and the redemption of the family. In the passage from Genesis 2, we read of the creation of woman and the first marriage. Eve is not only the solution to Adam's aloneness, but the one who enables God's image in humanity to be fully manifest. In the image of God, he created man, male and female, he created them. Eve was formed from Adam's side, so that it should be shown that she was created for the partnership of love, as Peter Lombard put it in his famous medieval sentences. She was made neither to dominate nor to serve the man, but as his partner, said Lombard. Matthew Henry, the Puritan commentator, glosses Lombard's thought beautifully by commenting that she was not made out of his head to top him, nor out of his feet to be trampled upon by him, but out of his side to be equal with him, under his arm to be protected, and near his heart to be loved. Eve was both suitable helper. Helper is a title often given to God himself, and he is the helper of Israel. But she, Eve, is also a match made in heaven. She is bone of Adam's bone and flesh of his flesh. Now in Jesus' day, in the Gospel reading, this was radical teaching. What God had joined together in the marriage of male and female was not to be rent asunder, torn apart. But serial adultery had resulted when merely human legislation interposed into God's design. God, Christ, taught his disciples to go back to the account of creation to learn the Creator's intention. Hard hearts and stiff necks meant divorce and separation marred God's perfect design, but it was not so at first. That was not as God intended it to be. Jesus also subverted another sinful relational perspective, the way that people thought about children. They too were made to image God and made to be part of his kingdom. Jesus says, "Of such is that kingdom," pointing to the children. Of such is that kingdom. He's saying there more than we must be like children to inherit the kingdom. That's a point he makes elsewhere, but that's not what he's saying here. Bearing in mind how the pronoun "of such" is used in the Gospels, it cannot mean simply those like this, while excluding actual children. Their low social status, Jesus is saying, is no bar to their redemption and inclusion in the covenant family. So this is not just a strong indirect argument for infant baptism, but as the theologian Charles Hodge put it, it indicates that heaven is, in great measure, composed of the souls of redeemed infants. No wonder this is the reading that is set for baptism services in the Book of Common Prayer. Sundays in October this year bring us a short series in the letter to the Hebrews. In this week's readings, we learn that the one who created the worlds and sustains them by his powerful word was for a little while made lower than the angels, but now he reigns at the right hand of the Father, having tasted death for us. Christ took our flesh and blood so that through his death we might become bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh. He unites himself to humanity physically in order to save his children, his brethren, his people spiritually, giving himself up for his bride. That's the perspective of Hebrews chapter 2. And so, as Calvin preached, Jesus has taken a nature that is common to us, by which he has made himself intimate with us, an intimacy which is accomplished by his Spirit as we are united to him through faith.